He stands before God and he says, I'm condemned. I'm a man of unclean lips, and I come from a people of unclean lips. He recognizes the holiness of God, and in light of the holiness of God, his sinfulness becomes that much clearer. His eyes are opened. He realizes that this God who is perfect in every way, the implications of that is this. It's like walking into an all-white room, white furniture, white carpet, and you realize as you walk in there and you're looking at all the white furniture and the carpet, you realize you're covered in mud, and it's too late. It's too late. And all you can think about is the homeowner's going to kill me when he sees me standing here. And so now that's what's taking place. Because Isaiah's like, okay, it's over for me. I'm an unclean man, and I come from a people that are unclean. And he says specifically, he says, I'm a man of unclean lips, and I come from a people of unclean lips. And the context here is this. If you recall, Jesus says in Matthew 12, I think it's verse 34, Jesus says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. If a man is speaking with hatred, the Bible says it's because there's hatred in his heart. If a man is speaking with prejudice, it's because he holds prejudice in his heart. If a man or woman is speaking lustfully or with adulterous comments, then there is lust and adultery in their heart. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so Isaiah is saying, I'm a man of unclean lips, and I come from a people of unclean lips. The statement, therefore, that he's making is this: I'm a man who comes from a people that are wicked down to our very hearts. So what's taking place is, in light of God's holiness, Isaiah is recognizing that he is completely depraved. He is completely unworthy to be in the presence of God. This is not the first time this takes place. In Luke chapter 5, allow me to turn there real quick. Oh, good, I had it marked. In Luke chapter 5, Peter has an interaction with Jesus. And Jesus says, page turned. Starting in verse 4, it says, when he had finished speaking, referring to Jesus, he said to Simon Peter, now go out where it is deeper and let down your nets to catch some fish. Master, Simon replied, we worked hard all last night and didn't catch a thing. But if you say so, I'll let the nets down again. At this time, their nets were so full of fish that they began to tear. A shout for help brought their partners in the other boat, and soon both boats were filled with fish and on the verge of sinking. When Simon Peter realized what had happened, he fell to his knees before Jesus and said, "Oh Lord, please leave me. I'm too much of a sinner to be around you." For he was awestruck by the number of fish they had caught, as were the others with him. His partners, James and John, the sons of Zebedee, were also amazed. Jesus replied to Simon, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you'll be fishing for people." And as soon as they landed, they left everything and followed Jesus. It's really easy to read over a passage like that and miss the nuances that really that make the most significant points. Here in verse 5, after Jesus tells Peter, he says, I know you've been out there all night, but I want you to go fishing. Peter says to him, "Master, we've been out all night. We didn't catch anything, but okay, since you say so, I'll go back out." Now, I know I have at least 3 fishermen in this room. I know I got John, Steve, and Phil. Carlos, I have no clue what you're fishing for, but it ain't fish. But I know I have at least 3 fishermen, and is it not true that oftentimes the best time to fish is at night, especially in the shallows, which is where this took place? And now, Peter is saying, look, I know you're the holy guy, but I'm the fisherman, and I'm telling you, I've been out at the right time, in the right place. We were out there all night, and we didn't catch anything. But, okay, you're the teacher, I'll do it. And that's exactly what he says. The first word here, he says master, and in the Greek, it's the Greek word epistates, which means master, teacher. It's a recognition of one's, it's like calling someone teacher or instructor, okay? But what happens is after the miracle takes place, listen to what he says to Jesus now. And it's so easy to read right over something like this. But right afterwards, in verse 8, he says, "Oh Lord." It's not teacher anymore. Now it's, "Oh Lord, please leave me. I'm too much of a sinner to be around you." This Greek word for Lord here is now the word Kyrios. And Kyrios is the word for a different kind of master. It's a slave and a slave's master. Kyrios, doulos. Doulos is the slave. The relationship here has changed. The heart has changed. He just saw Jesus, at least in part, saw the holiness and the power of Jesus, and in light of that, just recognized. He went from calling Jesus a wise teacher to now calling him his literal master. He went from recognizing that, okay, you're a smart guy, you've got great things to say, I believe that they are wise and I'll follow them, to saying, no, I'm willing to give up everything for you. You're my master. He recognized the complete authority that Jesus had, and he completely submitted to him. And the evidence of that is the last verse of that passage where it says he did exactly that. He gave up his entire business. He walked away from everything and he followed Jesus. I want to challenge you with this tonight. God's holiness, his beauty, both aspects of his holiness. The fact that he is so distinct, so different, so glorious, so beautiful, and the fact that he is perfect, the moral aspect of his holiness. He is perfect and without flaw. What it did to both of those men is first it brought fear. They were terrified because the only sane response to being before God, to being in his presence, is to recognize that you fall short of everything he is. And so their initial response is fear. Proverbs 9:10, I believe it is, says that fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Now, wisdom is application. Knowledge is information. Wisdom is application. It's to apply the information that has been given. So what these men did is they first started off with a healthy fear of the Lord, and that's the beginning of wisdom. When you have a healthy fear of the Lord and you recognize who he is and then realize who you are in light of that, the only sane thing to do then, the wise thing to do then, would be to apply the authority that is so clearly established in front of you. To recognize, okay, this is a Kyrios, doulos relationship. I owe you everything. You being as holy as you are and me being as sinful as I am, that means that my gratitude should be overwhelming for the grace that you've bestowed on me.